everyone, it's Kerri-Ann and I thought I would do a short video today for you having a look at one of the new stamp sets, Imagine Design Create stamp sets. So this is Dear Friend. So if I move it up a little bit you'll be able to see clearer the stamps that you get in the set. So you've got If Friends Were Flowers, I'd Pick You, Best Wishes, Just Because, So Glad We're Friends and Happy Birthday, and lots of lovely flowers with a sort of dotty effect. So what I've done, if I just pop that one to one side, is I have pre-stamped the larger flower and also two of the leaves as well. And I used my Black Shadow Hybrid Nuvo ink just because it's my favourite ink at the moment. And then what I'm going to do is just show you some simple watercolouring and then put together a card for you. So I'm going to use this mat, which is just like an acrylic mat, because I find that it keeps my table a bit cleaner. I'm just going to move that to one side. And also it's a nice surface to use for when you're doing watercolouring. So if we start with the flower, I've got lots of different pens here. So I'm just going to go for the, what one's this? Lilac Blossom. And as you can see, what I tend to do is just put a little bit of the colour out on the acrylic mat. And then I pick it up with my Aquaflow pen. So I'm going to use the fine one. So I always just check that there's water in there first, and then I come in and just start to brush it on. So as you can see, it's a nice light purple, and you can build up the shading by going back in a couple of times. And I tend to work better if I start lighter and build the colour up rather than going straight in with the dark colour. So all I'm doing is just the central part of the flower, and you'll see that I put one coat on and then a second to give it that depth. And I'm not being too particular or fussy. I'm not making it absolutely perfect. I'm just doing a light colouring. So what you'll notice is the more that I'm adding water to it, the lighter the colour becomes. So just add a little bit more of the ink just there onto the side. And that will then give you the ability to pick more of the pigment up from the watercolour pen. These are Nuvo watercolour pens, the Aquaflow range, and I believe they are on the Imagine Design Create website now as well. I don't know what the stock levels are like, but they were on there. So you'll start to see that as the water evaporates, you get left behind that gorgeous colour. So I've done the shading there by picking it up from there for the lighter, and then I want the darker on the outside. So what I'm going to do is go directly on with the pen itself to get the darker shade. So you'll notice that it's the same colour but it's darker because I'm going straight on rather than diluting it with the water brush. Now that's something that I quite like to do for the flowers because it's giving me the same shading, the same colour, but just in two different shades of the same colour. So again, I'm not being too delicate, I'm just going straight on and just colouring in. I do enjoy colouring. I tend to stamp out lots and lots of images, usually repetitive designs, and then I put it into a little basket. Then I go back and cut them out. So this is the sort of thing that I'll do sort of an evening in front of the TV, sit and cutter them all out. And then I keep them in a basket separate as well. And then when I go to card make or making things for my journaling or art journal or anything like that, then they're sort of pre-cut, ready to go. And I don't feel like I've got to sit and do the cutting and the sort of the stamping all in one process. It gives me some pre-bits ready to make with. So I've got one more part here. I'm just coming in that outer part of the flower. There we go. So that was quick and easy, and only one colour pen, but you get that beautiful shading effect there from just the one of the colours. So if I just bring that up a little bit, hopefully you can see that. So I put my flower to one side and I'm going to come in now with the leaves. Now what I will do is just take a tissue and clean that up because I've got a habit of putting my hands into the places that I've put ink. So this is the green, and I'm going to do a similar thing here, and this is fresh green. So again, I'm going to start with taking the colour at its lightest by using the water brush. So I'm using that all over. And there we go. So I've got that nice light coat. And again on the other leaf. Just coating it and keeping a lighter side at this top part, as if the light is on that top part there, because when I put it on, I'm going to probably put them on that way round, I think. So once you've decided where the darker shade's going to be, you can come back in directly with the pen and just do a bit of shading. Now if you feel it gets too heavy, you can water it down again with the water brush. So don't worry if you feel like the colour got too heavy or you put too much on. Take it back down with the water brush, blend it out back into the shade that you want it. So I'm just blending that out, and you'll notice that as it starts to dry, it blends out. And I'm just going to mix in a bit more there, bringing in the second coat of the lighter. And this, I should have said, is actually just normal white card. This is matte and layer card from the Imagine Design Create website again. It's not watercolour card, it's not a special card, it is literally just matte and layer card. So there we go, we've got a nice shade and blend for the leaves there. So if I just pop those two back, and I can bring up the leaves for you so you can see the flower and the leaves together. So hopefully you can see that. I'm not too sure if that's on the screen. All right, there you go. So that's Lexi, if you can hear her in the background. So once I've finished with my flowers, again, I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to take the smaller of the flowers, and I'm going to take a piece of the matte and layer card, and this is going to be what I use to create the card. I'm going to use the black shadow ink again, and I'm just going to create myself a border by just repeat stamping the flowers. Now again, I'm not wanting this to be exact or in any particular pattern. In fact, I'm actually going half off the page so that I get a more sort of abstract look. And I'm working again on the acrylic matte so that I can give it a clean afterwards. And when you're using the black shadow, obviously don't let it dry, because it actually will stay on your acrylic surfaces if you don't clean it up quickly, because it's a very, very good ink. There we go. So I'm just going round the border. There we go. Okay, so once you're happy with how that looks, what I did next was actually cut a circle of black card just to give a bit of contrast, but just to show you that you could put it directly onto the white as well. And that's what it would look like if it was onto white. But I've got one here that I finished earlier, and all I did was give it a black oval and stamped the sentiment "Happy Birthday." And there you go, a really quick and easy watercolour flower card using Nuvo mediums and the new Imagine Design Create stamp set called Dear Friend. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, it'd be great if you could let me know in the comments what you think. Happy crafting!